bigambiwe naka iba bigena mayarira edore twenze agaryoshe ariko garanyobwaho nabeza gusa umutima utuje umutima ukeye uwo niwe dusangira kuri iyi ntanga iwacu ni Rwanda we naka u Rwanda rwagihanga yiwe kanyobwe we naka kanyobwe barugiyarira itwabivuganyeho.
Gracious loving Father, we gathered as your children. We thank you for those in this country, Americans who have come to say we want to be partners. Bless tonight every speaker. Above all, I pray for one thing, that when this meeting is over and we go home, we never forget. May you come into the house and bless our food. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
If we can all stand and sing the national anthem to open the event.
Oh, sing, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose the stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the Lamb was rewashed, were so gallantly streaming.
While you are standing, I'm going to introduce you the MC for tonight. Alex Karundu. Alex is the chairman of the Kenyan Diaspora Advisory Council. Where's Alex? Did he run away? Alex, please come to the front. Alex is going to steer the rest of the event tonight, and he's going to start by guiding us through the East African National Anthem, which he knows by heart. My name is Benson Kasue. I am one of the board members for the chamber, and it's a pleasure to be this evening. Yeah, Alex.
Good evening, everybody. How you doing? All right, good to be here. Thank you, Benson. Thank you, everybody who has come tonight. Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tujaze kwa uzi kwa umoja, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuiadhimishe, tuimarishe. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, tuidumu jumuiya yetu. All right, let's put our heads together. I think we can do the first time. Let's all get seated. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Let's all get seated. You won't keep quiet. Thank you. That was a good test. Hello again. Thank you for coming. Those that are coming from Nairobi, Kigali, all part of the world. Hatujambo wote. Thank you. We will have a wonderful night as we get started. I want to recognize all His Excellencies, the ambassadors that are here tonight. Ambassador from motherland of Kenya, His Excellency Robinson Githai. Let's appreciate him. All the way from DC, we have Honorable Katende, His Excellency Honorable Katende, the ambassador to the United States of Uganda. Let's appreciate it. We also have Jean Muzambila. Are you here? There you go, from Africa, from Uganda. We have our Deputy CEO of Council of Governors from Kenya, Rosemary Njarama. Are you here? Let's appreciate her. Thank you so much for coming. And I know we have quite distinguished guests all over the place. Whoever you are, I heard somebody who came from Japan. One of our sister friends from Japan. Can you raise your hands over there? All the way from Japan. Thank you so much. So we are universal tonight as we come and celebrate the work that East African Chamber of Commerce has done. Thank you, Benson. I'm reminded that we also have Honorable Ruhunda from Uganda. Is he here? Thank you. We also have Bonnie Sevano. Thank you. We have. Yes, those are the dignitaries we have tonight, beside you who has also selected to come and join with us. We're doing the 10th anniversary, or the 10th event conference this year, and I think this has been one of the most well attended during the conference from Thursday to today. It's been a networking moment for all of us. We're excited as we wrap up this event. Like the person who prayed for us said, a time used to be where East Africans would be looking to the West. Now we are moving back again as Africans, as East Africans, to build the East African region, and we're partnering with you. And it cannot be more exciting moments than we are tonight. So this is a testimony that we are moving on very, very well with our businesses, with good interactions, and with good vision to grow our companies and our region. Thank you again for coming. So we're going to do, I think as we keep on going, you can enjoy your salad, because food is coming, I can assure you that. So keep, go on all those salads. It's good to be healthy. No food until we finish the salad, just to let you know. We have a couple of items that we're going to be going through tonight. We have Maisha project. Beatrice, Williamson, are you here? Yeah. All right, are you ready to roll over?
Good evening. You guys okay? Everybody okay? Awesome. My name is Beatrice Williamson, and I'm the founder and the director of the Maisha project. And today, basically, with the opportunity that we have here, I want to thank the whole team for organizing this event, to give people like our nonprofit a platform to also share and kind of like just put a word out there on what we do. Today, I want to speak specifically about what we have coming up here in Dallas, Fort Worth, next month. Maisha Project and Hands Across Ocean are two nonprofits that are coming together to put a fundraising event to raise funding for charities that we do back in Kenya. I come from Kisumu, and we empower the communities where we serve to be self-reliant, to be able to kind of like fend for themselves. At Maisha, we sponsor about 927 children for education. We have kids that we are empowering for education from grade school through universities across Kenya. And besides that, we are also empowering local community members to be self-reliant. So we are based in Oklahoma City, but we are partnering with Hands Across Ocean that is based here in Texas. And we thought that it would be awesome to have two different nonprofits that are working from US to give back at home, a chance to come together to do a fundraising to better the lives of the children that we serve. So today I'm with my partner, Sarah. Sarah is back there. And she is the founder. She is the founder and the director of Hands Across Ocean that does the same work that Maisha does, but in a different region in Kenya. So our heart desire is basically very simple. We love to give back home because we have an opportunity here in the US that has, was bestowed upon for us. And paying forward does not come really difficult for us. And this is why we want to engage people like you to be a part of our story. How can we engage you to be a part of our story? We have an event coming up next month. It's called A Night for Africa in Fort Worth. It's going to be next month on November 18th in Sheraton, in Fort Worth Center. And we are looking for people like you to invest in our programs to help us better the future of the children that we serve. How can you be a part of this program? We are looking for sponsors. We are looking for table hosts. We are looking to literally just tell the story of these children that we serve. A good incentive is we are going to have about 12 children coming from our program back at home to tell their own stories. Because it's easy for us to stand here and tell about the work we do all day long, but it's very powerful to hear directly from the recipients that are receiving the benefit that they are given. So on that day, we are also going to have children that are actually benefiting from the programs that we are giving back to in Kenya here with us. So, it's just as simple as that, but in a nutshell, we are looking for people like you to be a part of what we are doing. And today after the event, we will be standing out there. We have flyers like this where your business can be a part of our story, or you as an individual, but we would love for you to help us make a difference. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity, Alex and East Africa Chamber of Commerce, and we hope to see you guys there.
Thank you, thank you. Put your hands together again for Beatrice. This is a time for Ugandan dancers.
Take a sabbath in Mayo. wambudabuda darling wanzibula n'amasago wantema kanya kadulu wambudabuda darling wanzibula n'amasago kanokoze w'omukwano lavo njagala nkuwane kanokoze nze ne tata kamugambe leero njagala nkusuute kanokoze w'omukwano lavo njagala nkuwane kanokoze nze ne mama kamugambe leero njagala nkusuute swite yatolosa muteeka olwaleero nkulabanga banka leka nze nebaze kunnampima ez'omuwalanga obulabo bw'eŋŋamba olanga wakanamubuuza badiro baba badiro eyamanyina kiboko mama ze yankuba nango badiro era nze wansanga nakyo wanteba kanya kadulo wambudabuda ddali wanzibula n'amasago kanokoze w'omukwano lavo njagala nkuwane kanokoze nze ne tata kamugambe leero njagala nkusuute kanokoze w'omukwano lavo njagala nkuwane kanokoze nze ne mama kamugambe leero njagala nkusuute kati nyimba kokonyo nga bwefuluma mu mulyango gwa mama genze kusiba na mpombo manzifumira omulungi eyansima nyimba kokonyo nga bwefuluma mu mulyango gwa tata nze ngenze kusiba mpombo manzifumira omulungi eyansima mufumbire nzijula byayagala miteke ku sowani y'ebbumba kachayike katekemu ekisubi kateke mu kikopo ky'ebbumba kanokoze mwami wange lavo njagala nkuwane kanokoze nze ne tate kamugambe njagala nkusuute kanokoze mwami wange njagala nkuwane kanokoze nze ne tate kamugambe njagala nkusuute
For those who do not know what was happening, someone just gave up on his wallet and gave all the wallet. Oh yeah.
You know, I kept on thinking, the money that Lynn put there, how will she get it? She's twisting it so fast the money can go all the way down so quickly. God bless you. Thank you so much. Let's put your hands again for our dancers tonight.
Again, we cannot say thank you enough to all the dignitaries, Your Excellency, the ambassadors, being here for the couple of days that you've been here. And tonight is really an emphasis of what you value. We at the diaspora, what we're doing, not only assisting back home, but also growing our business here in the US as we interact with the East Africans. So really want to, again, thank you for coming and thank you for being with us tonight. We have a Kenyan, at least we have seen Rwandese. Ugandans, let's show you what Kenyans do. We have one of the best dancers from Kenya, just for you up yesterday. In case you have not known, he's known to be. Let's put our hands together for Chibukizi. He may not dance, but he will do more than dancing. You can do dancing, please. You know, stop. Back up. Back there. DJ, this is not church here. But you can throw money if you want to. Chibukizi. What? Is that for putting money? Okay. As we look for the song, start twisting yourself as in the mood of silence and we look for a song for you. There you go. You can go all the way down, keep the keys, go down, all the way down. Press. Finya kidute. Really? All right, put your hands together for Chibukizi.
Thank you so much. Big. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a comedian. I make people laugh. Now, let me tell you something about me. The place I come from, I'm a star. I'm a superstar. So when I'm introduced on stage, people clap, shout, and scream. Tell me. So, you're not going to pretend that I'm not a star. So this is what you're going to do. I'm going to hide myself back there and introduce myself. So when I say my name, behave like you know me. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Kenya, put your hands together for the funny man, Chibukizi! Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is my second time in America, first time legally, and it's a nice feeling. I really love America. But I've seen my ambassador is here. Let me tell you something about my ambassador. He's a very generous man. You know, he's a very generous. And I'm going to prove it to you because I know him, you know. Ambassador, do you have like $1,000 with you? Like, so that we can, you see, I've told you. Yeah. Very generous. Very generous. Do you have now like 2,000 so that I can show you another one? This is how I'm going to pay rent back at home. But you know, it's a good thing to see East Africans and you know, a lot of people from other parts of Africa and the world meet together and talk. A lot of things going back in East Africa. Let me tell you something. East Africa, we are doing okay. We are okay, by the way. But you know, the politics. Let me tell you about my country. First of all, Kenya is one of the most wonderful countries you'll ever see in this world. Because in everything that we do it to the best. You know, Lupita came here. Lupita Nyong'o came here. She acted one movie, just one. Just one. She won an Oscar. My cousin Barack Obama came in this country. My cousin was in this country. He was a president for 2 terms. Have you seen our athletes? They run, they win gold medals. But I need, ambassador, we need to talk to them. You know, I've seen them. Whenever they win, you know, they are champions. Whenever they win, and then, you know, CNN is there to ask them, how did you do it? There is a mistake that they always do. They start struggling to speak in English. Now, we need to tell people one thing, that English is not our first language. It's our second language. So these people are, I saw Putney. Putney came here, he was speaking in Russian. I mean, you are the star. Even Messi, when Messi is talking to CNN, CNN looks for people to translate. You know, Messi is so amazing how is the Champions League. And Messi will start saying, and then CNN will translate. I don't know what happens. First of all, even the way they brand themselves, this is what happens. To the Olympics, they introduce, from the United States of America, introducing Mackenzie. Then Mackenzie will do some crazy things. From South Africa, introducing. Now, everybody has come to watch the Kenyans. Then the announcer will say, all the way from Kenya, he's never lost in any championship. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Kemboi. And then when he wins, he'll go to the camera and start saying some things that don't make sense. So, sir, how did you win? I mean, how did you make it to number 1? Tell us. It was not easy. I ran. And I ran again. I see in front no people. I ran. Gold medal, I mean. But our country, you know, just the other day, we had people have always said that when you go to Africa, you find lions roaming the streets. Now, the other, few months ago in Kenya, we had lions literally in the streets. You know, they broke out of the national park. Now, when the lions broke out, you know the African way of dealing with lions, when you see one, is that you take off. You run. You see a lion, you run. So when the lions came out, the government told us, you know, they put advertisements on radio, newspaper, TV. If you see a loose lion, call this number. We were given a number, guys, to call. This is a lion you're telling us to call if we see one. So I was trying to imagine, I'm walking across the streets of Nairobi, and then I see a lion. And then I decided, instead of running, let me call them. First of all, I don't even remember the number, so I have to ask for my friend. Hey, James, do you remember the lion number? Yeah, there is one here. Okay, let me call him. The lion is here. So you call, you know, once they pick, this is what they do. Thank you for calling customer care. For English, press 1. For Kiswahili, press 2. The lion is here. You press 1. For wild animals, press 1. For domestic animals, press 2. The lion is here. You press 1. For tiger, press 1. For elephant, press 2. For cheetah, press 3. For lions, press 4. You press 4. For big lions. Thank you so much, guys. I love you all.
My man, thank you, sir. Alrighty. Put your hands again for Chibukizi. Hey, Chibu. You know, I've just confirmed what they say at Churchill. You have a big head. For real. And that's a good thing. Now, we've witnessed across the globe what we can offer. Only thing left is to see what our American brothers and sisters can do. Do you want to see what the Americans can do? Are you ready? Are you ready for it? For real? We are completely integrated. It's not only East African, it's East African, Dallas, US, everybody in it, because we mean business. Wapi ule jamaa wangu wa ugali? Just don't. All right, that's the American man. Oh man, he's so tall. Woohoo! Put your hands together. Mpigieni makofi jamaa wangu huyu. Unajua kile kinasitua? Wazungu hawapigi makofi.
Nipige makofi sahi.
We ongeza makofi.
Makofi.
Upiga makofi waambie.
Kahawa.
Ambia wazungu wapige makofi.
Mimi sikunywi kahawa. Umesema kofi?
Kofi.
Hebu leta kofi.
Sio hiyo. No. This guy will surprise you how much Swahili he does. Go ahead, tell us whatever you want. Kuku gali.
Siwezi ongea Uganda. Pole sana. Lakini nikiishi huko nitajaribu kujifunza. Huyu mzee, nimesahau jina lako.
Mgani huyu?
Yeah.
Chibukizi.
The money guy. See, you said ata dance.
Ata dance.
Sijamuona.
Amedance na mdomo.
Mimi nita dance.
Haya, endelea.
Hata kama muziki kidogo.
Aina gani? Lingala?
Unaweza kuchagua wimbo moja, mimi sijali. Uko na swali?
I know we
What?
No, he don't. I'm his official spokesman. What's the question, ma'am?
But
for those that are floating, this gentleman has lived in Kenya for how long did you stay there?
2 years.
2 years. He took over our language. He can speak it fluent. Oh no. The only thing he did not come with was a wife. Oh, you have a Kenyan wife? Bado.
Natafuta.
Unatafuta? Mkenya?
Wako wengi hapa.
Best of luck. All the single ladies, you can lift your hand up. Utampata bwana wa kweli, si wa makaratasi. All right. DJ, put a song for him. He's waiting to dance.
Kama
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sawa hapo sawa.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, we have tested the whole world. The only thing we didn't touch was the Eskimo, and we don't have any tonight. So let's move to the next part of our program. Jolie Kahunde, are you ready? She has a foundation called Malaika, which is angel. Let's hear what she has for us tonight. Can we appreciate this wonderful lady, please, with a good clap of hands? Thank you. Karibu, mama.
After all this, I don't know. I'm soft-spoken, but I'll try. My name's Ajole Kahunde. I'm from Uganda, and I've been here for 17 years. I founded the Malaika Rescue Mission 4 years ago. We look after these little ones orphans and the less privileged in Uganda. Okay. So anyways, these are kids whose parents died to HIV, and when I looked for kids I wanted to help, since I had lost some relatives and some loved ones to HIV, that touched home, and I wanted to help kids whose parents died of HIV. So we helped these kids with the tuition fee, with the uniforms, shoes. Of recent, we added on shoes. We help them with the whatever needs or school necessities. As of now, we are looking for help from you guys. I am looking for help. I have some board members who are not here tonight, but we are trying to construct a home for these homes because they are scattered in different villages, and at times it's difficult for us to go visiting them from one home to another. So we are trying to get them all together into one home. So when these kids in those homes with their guardians, it's hard for us to feed them over there. Some of them, at times, they don't get to eat because they don't get to take their medication because they lack food. And we help one child in a family. At times, it's difficult for us to feed like one child in a family when there is more than one. So they can't feed the one child and leave the others hungry. So we couldn't afford with that. We stopped that program. So now we feed them at schools. This is one of the reasons why we want them in their homes. At times they miss on their medications because they can't go to the dispensaries or the clinics to pick the medication. So when we have them in this one home, we are trying to construct. We have land in Mukono, so if we construct a home in Mukono and a home in Fort Potro, then we will be able to take care of these kids from their homes. So I need help from you. I'm based here in Dallas, in Bedford. I have some board members. We are 7 people, and we are looking for help. Mostly, we are helping with education. So that's what I'm doing for my kids. I have a table out there, and I'll be out. You can reach up to me, and I'll give you more information. My name's Ajole Kahunde from Uganda. Thank you so much.
I want to invite our keynote speaker tonight. This is one person one amongst the bank, Equity Bank in Kenya, that has really supported not only the East African Chamber of Commerce, but so many of us that have invested in the East African region, in various businesses. I know earlier today we had a talk with him, and he just did a loan to an investor who lives here in Dallas. And there's really a lot of opportunities that we can get from this bank. We are excited about partnering with Equity Bank, from commercial loans to savings, regular accounts. So if you have not opened an account, please have time and visit their booth. And also get to, if you're stuck with tough decisions of how you can raise funds to put up commercial enterprises around our region, Equity Bank has the biggest clientele network within East African region. So we're excited to have Patrice tonight. He's going to be talking to us as a keynote speaker, and then after that, food will follow. So put your hands together as we invite our guest keynote speaker, Patrice, from Equity Bank, all the way from Nairobi. Let's make it bigger a little bit. 1, 2, 3. Moja. Oh, this can work? All right. Let me show you how we used to do it. If you don't mind, I know you've been seated for a while. Just stand up. I'm going to do it the Moi way. Those of us that know Moi era means an era that we had a president in Kenya. Sorry, I have to keep on doing that. For Kenyans, they can understand that. So we used to clap 3 times, and then I have my own thing to say, and then I'll make him feel he's really good, but he is. All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Moja. Billy. Karibu. Baba Taif. Ongea na watu wako. Thank you, Patrice. You can use this.
Good evening, guys. Everyone hear me okay? So, let me begin by apologizing in advance for many things. One is coming between you and dinner. 2 is I'm a bit jet lagged, in case you can't tell. I flew in this morning, and I think it's 5:15 in the morning in Nairobi. So if I sound delirious, forgive me. So on behalf of Equity Group, thanks for inviting me here to EACC's 10th annual conference. Unfortunately, my boss, Dr. James Mwangi, could not be here today, so I am here representing him and the entire Equity Group. So I'll attempt to represent my 6 bosses across the different countries we're in. So Dr. James Mwangi is our CEO of Equity Group Holdings and the Managing Director of Equity Bank Kenya. Samuel Kirubi is our MD of Equity Bank Uganda. Joseph Iha, our MD of Equity Bank Tanzania. Huntington Namara is our MD of Equity Bank Rwanda. Dr. Addis is our Executive Director of Equity Bank South Sudan. And Celestine Mukeba is our MD of ProCredit Bank in Congo. We recently purchased a bank in Congo called ProCredit. So we're in 6 countries. So thanks in advance again for affording me a few minutes to speak. Benson warned me to only take 10 minutes. He knows I can ramble for 2 hours straight if he allows me. That's actually why I have notes, to make sure I don't ramble. As some of you in the room may know, I spent the better part of my life here in the US. I went to high school in Southern California. I went to undergrad business school. And then I've been a banker for almost 15 years with Wells Fargo, Bank of America. And then in commercial banking. And then a few years ago decided to move to Kenya, having regretted the decision since. So any of you East Africans that are looking to move back home, it is possible. So I just want to throw that out there. So my job tonight is I consider it fairly simple. I'm not here to convince you to invest back home. If you're here tonight, you've been here throughout the week, I'm guessing that you're convinced enough if you sat through the panel discussions. So on my way here, as I was traveling, I was trying to figure out what I would speak about. So I run two businesses for Equity Group, diaspora banking and remittances. Normally, I'd spend time talking about diaspora banking, which is the banking side of things, telling you what we can do for you. And normally in meetings like this, most of you would sit there pretending to listen, waiting for me to finish talking so you can get to your dinner. So tonight I'm thinking I'll talk about the other side of the business and see if that's more interesting than the banking side. But I'm a banker, so forgive me if it doesn't end up being as interesting. So the other part of my job again is a remittance side, and that's the piece I want to talk about today. And remittances is just a fancy word for that describes the money that migrants send home to their loved ones. And so technically you can look at it as a form of investment. And I feel it's important for me to discuss this to help you understand why your remittances matter to our people back home and how to leverage them for larger impact. So for many years, remittances have been accounted for in the errors and omissions column within central banks worldwide. Things like trade, investments, capital flows have always been well documented and meticulously reported. But these informal payments, which are what we call or these informal transfers of small amounts of money between migrants and families, which are what we're calling remittances, have been largely unnoticed, hidden in plain sight until some years back. So globally, there's about 200 million migrants sending money to 800 million family members. So we're talking 1 billion people globally that are involved in this movement of money, and about $450 billion is sent every single year. 16% of that comes into Africa, so about $65 billion. Kenya receives about 1.8, Uganda about 1.1 billion, Tanzania about 400 million, Rwanda about 200 million. We don't have official statistics for South Sudan and DRC. But if you compare that to some of the other giants, Egypt receives $17 billion from their migrants. Nigeria, $19 billion. Mexico, $29 billion. Philippines, $30 billion. And India, $63 billion. So compare those numbers to what we receive in East Africa, right? Now, though the aggregate numbers of remittances are massive, the amount that matters most is not measured in millions, in billions, or in millions. To a remittance receiving family, it's the $200 in average that they receive that counts. And for many of these families, it counts for about 60% of their household income, that $200 a month, and enables these families to overcome poverty, meet immediate needs, and to contribute to a more secure future. Though these remittances are private financial transactions between family members, their potential impact can only be fully realized in concert with coherent public policies coupled with civil society and private sector initiatives, such as through my bank. So my challenge for all the migrants in the room, as well as those of us that are here to support them, is to find ways to maximize the impact of these remittances. And I'll go over that in a bit. So, and don't worry, I'll get to the boring bank part in a few minutes. Financial inclusion is widely recognized as the foremost mechanism for leveraging the impact of remittances and investments towards reaching a range of development goals. Remittances have a positive impact on migrant families and communities of origin, as well as addressing the immediate needs of the family, developing local economies, and boosting productivity. A few months back, I was at the UN headquarters speaking on financial inclusion through remittances. So, and I truly believe that migrants are the key or a part of the solution to the challenges that we face in Africa. And that's why I consider this important. 2 years ago, the UN issued a call to action to eradicate poverty and hunger and reduce social and economic inequality in its many forms. So this call to action is known as the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And this comprehensive undertaking affirms the need to reach 17 specific Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, by 2030. And I'll mention just a few that are related to the remittances and why this matters to you. So current estimates are 75% of all remittance flows that migrants send actually go to immediate needs, things like food, and housing, and 25% are available for other purposes. We believe that given better opportunities to save, remittance families will save more. So we focus on that. Given appropriate investment options, customized to their circumstances and goals, remittance families will invest more. And given better mechanisms to invest in human capital of their families, through better education, healthcare and housing, remittance families will live better lives. So, some of the SDGs, or Sustainable Development Goals that are related to, or that remittances contribute to in a variety of ways at the household, at the community and national level are as follows. SDG 1, the first one, end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Remittances more than double a family's disposable income. In fact, a 10% per capita increase in remittances leads to a 3.5% decline in the share of the poor people in the population. SDG 2, end hunger and achieve food security and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. The additional income that receiving families receive allows them to consume more food and improve their nutrition, particularly among children and the elderly, and the increased demand for food increases domestic food production, which benefits everyone. SDG 3, ensure healthy lives and promote the well-being at all ages. Remittances, as an additional source of income, improve healthy lifestyles through access to medicine, preventative care and health insurance. In fact, research shows that infants born into remittance households have a higher birth rate and less likely to die in the first year, simply because of that $200. SDG 4, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Remittance households invest 10% of their income in education and have better educational participation and outcomes. Children, especially girls, register higher school attendance, enrollment rates, and additional years in school. SDG 5, gender equality, achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Half of all remittance senders worldwide are women. Remittances have transformed the economic role of women through financial independence and better employment opportunities. Women remit approximately the same amount as men, but it tends to be higher proportion of their income. Another indication that women are generally more responsible than men, as my wife frequently reminds me. I think she wrote that. And I've had discussions tonight with many people really regarding, we have a few money transfer organizations in the house, and they have actually verified today that women do in fact send more money back home than men. So I don't know what men do with their money. We can have Alex respond to that when it comes up. At the national level, SDG 8 promotes sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. So the money held by remittance receiving countries and the migrant savings in host countries improves financial resources available to the general economy. Capital can be maximized when coupled with financial and entrepreneurial services. Migrant workers, such as the ones in this room, possess tremendous assets, knowledge, skills, networks. Diaspora investment in micro, small, and medium enterprises can be a highly effective way of creating jobs and generating income in local communities. So in sum, by providing remittance families with better opportunities and more options to use their money productively, the scope and ambition of these SDGs will meet the scale and the resourcefulness of these families. So what are some of the tangible ways that you as migrants can leverage the impact of your remittances? Number one, adapt mechanisms to allow you to invest directly or through investment vehicles into SMEs in your home countries. Calvert Foundation, which is based here in the US, has run such programs in India and in South America. 2, leverage your remittances to invest and engage directly in agricultural production, leading to improved food security. In Tunisia, diaspora investments tend to impact on rural areas, focusing more on social returns and on financial returns. Number 3, come together as migrant groups, pooling your resources to appeal to in-demand governments. And I'm glad we have a few government representatives in the room to work with you as partners in development. So a great example of this can be seen in Mexico. The 3-for-1 is a Mexican government program that supports the migrant project initiatives to propel the development of the communities in Mexico. It works by encouraging migrants to form clubs and organizations and then invest in particular projects such as social infrastructure, community service, and educational projects. For every peso contributed by the migrant club, the federal, state, and local governments each contribute 1 peso as well. So this has a multiplier effect. You turn 1 peso into 4. In 2006, Mexicans abroad sent $28 billion back home. Coincidence? Number 4, create a framework and strategies that allow governments back home to engage you in the development of areas such as brain gain, business advisory, investments, philanthropy, return and reintegration, and even tourism. This can be accomplished through the work of organizations such as the EACC. A perfect example of this is in the Philippines, where the government's D2D initiative provides such a framework for engaging the Filipino diaspora in the development of 10 key areas of intervention. 2016, Filipino abroad sent $30 billion back home. Again, coincidence? And then number 5, do not focus solely on private investments, however much we love them, but also invest in social infrastructure, community service, and educational projects. Equity Group Foundation, one of our subsidiaries, can assist in all these areas, especially on the educational side with our world-renowned Wings to Fly program. At Equity Group, our vision is to be the champion of the socioeconomic prosperity of the people of Africa. This is why we care about remittances. We're the largest bank in East and Central Africa with 11 different subsidiaries. 6 are banking subsidiaries and 5 are non-banking subsidiaries, operating in 6 countries: Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, DRC, South Sudan. We have almost 12 million customers, 30,000 plus shareholders, 28,000 plus bank agents, 280 branches, $5 billion in assets, and about $1.5 billion in market capitalization. We consider ourselves a large microfinance. So what are some of the tangible ways that we at Equity Bank are helping you leverage your remittances? We launched a diaspora banking unit in each of the 6 countries that we operate in. So we've got a team in each country that has begun a dialogue with each of the migrants living abroad. This dialogue is in the form of assigned relationship managers who take time to understand what you're looking to do. We've enabled our clients to invest back home through real estate, securities, fixed income, and even set up businesses. And some of our clients, some of whom are in this very room, have invested in large real estate holdings, such as apartments, hotels, manufacturing facilities, and we offer them support through financing. We've worked on our digital banking platforms and recently upgraded our mobile banking app, allowing you to access your banking while living abroad. We recently launched a health insurance product called Equimed. I don't know if you guys saw it on social media, that allows you to take care of your loved ones back home by purchasing insurance on their behalf. We've built a regional remittance hub, working with the largest money transfer organizations like Western Union and MoneyGram, as well as some of the more innovative ones such as Wave, which is quite popular here in the US, to create efficiency and lower the cost of remittances. And then lastly, we've partnered with organizations such as Financial Sector Deepening, FSD Africa, and the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, working with forcibly displaced persons or refugees in East Africa to ensure access to much needed remittances from their loved ones abroad, as well as working to lower the cost of remittances to ensure that the receiving family actually receives more. So my purpose here tonight was simply to get a conversation started. And the question I ask myself every day, and frankly my boss asks me every day, is why do the diaspora communities from India, Mexico, Philippines, Nigeria, and Egypt send so much more back home? And what role do we all play in this cycle of remittances? Equity Group recognizes the positive socioeconomic impact of remittances on families and communities. We're ready to fully engage the ambitions of Africa's 33 million plus migrants who send money home and bring to scale their remittances one family at a time. In case you guys want to know any of that boring banking stuff, I've got these brochures out there in the back. I didn't want to bore you to death by reading page by page, but they're out in the back. Thank you, guys.
That's the only way to make sure that you're Kenyan. All Kenyans do that. It's a way to wait. It's one way of confirming that you're true Kenyan. Anyhow, we're almost getting to a place where we need to eat now. So everybody, bon appetit.
Mommy, you they look good. If you no go mind, I go love to sample you. If you sick of you, they look so fresh. Blow my mind, I go love to handle you. Mommy, you they look good. If you no go mind, I go love to sample you. If you sick of you, they look so fresh. Blow my mind, I go love to handle you. Yeah, Gala, yeah, yeah, Gala,
Charlie, I was chilling by the poolside on a good day. Saw this girl from a distance. She find out with a cute smile and a big yash. I'm sure she's an Afghan. I said no time to the check time as a sharp guy, so I ginger the swagger. I said, baby girl, let me go straight to the point. See me, I feel die for your matter. Oh, I'm a big die, oh, that be landline. Only for me to undo, I need a lifeline. Nigga, Timo, undo sample, I never knew you are a bad guy. Who's your daddy? Oniyagi, the way you undo me is magic. She say I'm a big man in a kunkulu body. My name should be small but mighty.
Oh yeah, mommy, you they look good. If you no go mind, I go love to sample you. Take up, you they look so fresh. Blow my mind, I go love to handle you. Oh yeah, mommy, you they look good. If you no go mind, I go love to sample you. If you take off, you they look so fresh. In my mind, I go love to handle you. All the way to Tamale. Hey, when you hear am, you must to boom my all the way to Tamale. Hey, when you hear am, you must to boom my Zaga. Oh yeah, mommy, you they look good. If you no go mind, I go love to sample you. If you take off, you go look so fresh. Blow my mind, I go love to handle you. Oh yeah, mommy, you they look good. If you no go mind, I go love to sample you. If you take off, you go look so fresh. Blow my mind, I go love to handle you. All the way to Tamale. Hey, when you hear am, you must to boom my all the way to Tamale. Hey, when you hear am, you must to boom my oh yeah, mommy, you they look good. If you no go mind, I go love to sample you. Take up, you they look so fresh. Blow my mind, I go love to handle you. Oh yeah, mommy, you they look good. If you no go mind, I go love to sample you. If you take off, you they look so fresh. In my mind, I go love to handle you. Yeah, Gala, yeah, Gala, for the dough. Tell her one, but she want for the dough. Tell her, nah, vibe for the no. Tell her, die for the no.
Ghana girl say, she want marry me, yo. I hope so she sabi kuku wache. Hope your love go sweet past the sheet up. Baby girl, I say, your body na killer, oh. Oh, yeah, I get it tired of your body. Oh, only on your body. For the corner, there's somebody made a call. Where see the wine, I see fire for her body. And if she follow me, go now, enjoyment go kill 'em. Baby girl, you bad, girl, the way you whine, I demand over you, girl. I demand over you, girl. Say you are my woman, my superwoman. I demand over you, girl. I demand over you, girl.
Die for the love. Tell her one, but she want for the dough. Oh, last side for the no. Tell her one, but the die for the dough. Die for the dough. Tell her one, but she want for the dough. Tell her, die for the no. Tell her, die for the no.
If I sing for you, you gon' love me, oh, baby, love me non-stop.
with some money in my pocket. Keep up. So many pretty girls around me and they're waking up the rocket. Keep up. Why you mad? Fix your face. Ain't my fault they all be jacking. Keep up. Players only. Come on, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air. Head to toe, so clear. Look out. Second verse for the hustlers, gangsters, bad bitches and your ugly ass friends. I cannot preach, I cannot preach. I gotta show them how a pimp get it in. First, take your sip, do your dip, spend your money like money ain't shit. Ooh, ooh, we too fresh. Got to blame it on Jesus. Hashtag blessed. They ain't ready for me. I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. Keep up. So many pretty girls around me and they're waking up the rocket. Keep up. Why you mad? Fix your face. Ain't my fault they all be jacking. Keep up. Players only. Come on, put your pinky rings up to the moon.
Thank you. Good job. Alright, Mr. DJ, thank you so much. Yeah, hold on right there, lady. And one gentleman, just stay on hold. You got a wife already, right? You found a wife? Or Madu? I thought you came with her wrong. Now put your hands together for the designer of all these clothes. She's coming all along our tail. I see down Kamini. Let us appreciate her with a big clap. She has a wonderful, wonderful passion. This is beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the invitation, East African Chamber of Commerce and the team. And thank you all. My table is outside, so I'm selling the clothes. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Zagadat, American manager, it's your boy. It's E. Kelly. And baby, they confuse me, you put that on. Cause she get the guy with the send her money from London. She just see me like a Johnny Juster. Hey, I'm a kid, baboon, we just to chop.
Thank you. This is the only man that I know really is African. Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya, he's everywhere. I don't know where he was born, he acts like, he talks like a Rwandese, looks like a Kenyan, think like an Ugandan.
Our sponsors, especially those who've been here in the past, will keep supporting us, and then we welcome also those new ones who came this year. I'm going to call out some names of those representatives of those entities in the crowd. Can please stand up and give them a round of applause. I start with our diamond sponsor, Equity Bank. TSP. Winway Technology. Capital Insurance. Entert Funds. MoneyGram. MoneyGram is at 30 years right now. That is Safaricom. Vista, World Food Bank, Seagate, Stop Bank, Amazon,
Tisi, Zuri, Property, David, oh, okay. Smiley, World Bank, Park, sorry. Profession Health, Home and Health, Ifna Express, Obonde Law Firm, Optiven, Texas Center of Prostate Therapies, Forever Living Product, Poppy. Thank you, Papa, again. We've been here all through these 10 years. Thank you again. Bahari Nature, Integrity Financial Resource, Apple Diamond, War Venture, Maria, Julia, Pro-Client Finance, Roy. This is the fashion lady, she's now one of our sponsors too. Colette, fashion designer. Bahati. We also have Frisco Chamber of Commerce, Irving Chamber of Commerce, UTT, they're also the city of Dallas. They've been supporting for the beginning, thank you again. The Indian Chamber of Commerce, Red Fox. With that, all these names have been mentioned, this event will not happen. And I ask you, everyone who has the booth is available every year, every time we have a conference. I encourage to market your product, and I thank you everyone for attending the event. Thank you very much.
You're going to see a disruptive technology today that has the potential to be a world changer.
More demand on our natural resources, and more demand to have cleaner fuels, more efficient fuels, and cheaper sources of energy. And that's what this project is all about.
Thank you very much, Bill. This has been a great evening. I'm sorry I don't dance. And I'll try to make this as quick as possible because the coffee's probably running out. Let me tell you a little bit about who we are. We are Greenway Innovative Energy. It's a wholly owned subsidiary of Greenway Technologies in Fort Worth. I think this is, I'm much better on handheld anyway. We have been partnering, or our research and development department has been the University of Texas in Arlington since 2009. We have a very unique technology that converts natural gas in any shape to diesel fuel, jet fuel, or naphtha. But in addition, we also create something that is very special to the African continent, and that is fresh water and electricity. And we're here because we believe that our technology is the most economical way in the world to produce diesel. We have a high cetane diesel. In other words, normal diesel will be somewhere between 42 and 43 cetane. We create diesel at 81 cetane, which is almost twice as good. And if you look at the glass of water on your table right now, that's what our product looks like. It's that clear. The reason is because there is not any particulate matter and there is little to no emissions in the product. We are a Fort Worth-based company. Our technology is patented. We own 2 national patents right now. We have a provisional patent in place. We also have secured trade secrets and registered equipment. Our G-reformer, which is the key to our production, at the University of Texas at Arlington, we literally take natural gas from the wall and create synthetic gas. And from that synthetic gas, it goes through a Fischer-Tropsch process, catalytic process, and comes out with an 81 cetane diesel. Now, in addition to that, we create pure water. From our 500 barrel a day unit, we can create 28,000 gallons of water a day and 5.2 megawatts of electricity. How do we do that? The electricity comes because we create so much heat in our process that we can put a generator on that heat with the steam and we can create megawatts of electricity. Now, we can light up, first of all, I'll show you our process. We take natural gas, and I've already explained it to you, but it goes through the G-reformer. That's where it comes out of the wall, through the G-reformer, and into then the FT, and you can see the water, electricity, and fuel. What we can do in East Africa, we believe we have the basic elements of civilization: fuel, water, and electricity. And we want to partner with your nation. We believe our technology is for the nations of the earth. And we can do this economically, where all of us are blessed. We can come into your countries with economic development, utilizing your personnel, your people for production, possibly even your manufacturing. We can set our units down and utilize either natural gas or methane or any other sort. In the southern Sudan, they have associated gas with their oil wells. They're flaring the gas. We can take that flared gas and create fuel, water, and electricity. In Rwanda, they have a lot of methane. Methane's coming up. We can take the methane and create. In Tanzania, they have natural gas, flared. We can take that flared gas. So all we want and what we're looking for are joint venture partners with governments, Ambassador, Mr. Ambassador, and it's been a privilege to meet you guys. And it's been an honor to visit with you and find out about your countries, as it has with all of you. But we want to partner with you. You can see here on this slide a 500 barrel a day unit, as I said, 5.61 megawatts of electricity. If we built a 2,000 barrel a day unit, you're looking at 20.4 megawatts of electricity. The water, 28,152. And if we did a 2,000, it would be 112,000. So you can see that the volumes are there, and we can help bring light to the East African people of all the nations. So our desire is to come to you and help you prosper. And in doing so, we're serving the African continent and bringing light to the African continent. So thank you very much. It's been a privilege to be here. We've met most of you, a lot of you, and I want to thank you, and I want to tell you that I'm so excited about what this conference can do and is doing, and even the change just in the last 12 months when I was here last year. I believe that we're on the verge of something great. And I think what we need to look for in Africa is this is not a sprint. Guys, this is a marathon. And in a marathon requires endurance, patience, and focus. Because if you don't focus when you're running a marathon, you're going to pass out. You're not going to make the end. So I know we need to make the end and push through for the prosperity of the nations. Thank you.
Your Excellency, ambassadors, chamber members, Madam Chair, it's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you for this opportunity. We really appreciate it. It's been a delight to be here, have a few minutes with you. And I'm going to take advantage of that by telling you a little about who the DSC is, Dallas Safari Club. Again, I'm Corey Mason, the Executive Director of this fine organization. I'm going to tell you who Dallas Safari Club is, walk through some of the benefits of tourism regarding hunting, and then I'm going to come to you and offer some things up about ways that we can partner with you and ways that we can help you. And so I'm going to begin with a couple-minute video, and then from there we're going to go through, in 6-8 minutes, talk through a few things. So please join me in watching this video.
For more than 30 years, the Dallas Safari Club has been recognized as an international leader, committed to conserving wildlife and wilderness lands. The vision of DSC is a society that values wildlife, engages in its conservation, and understands and supports the role of well-regulated hunting in the sustainable use of wild resources. Our international membership is made up of committed individuals who support our mission through volunteerism and financial contributions. To spread the word of DSC's mission, we enjoy partnerships with many of the recognized leaders in the world of wildlife conservation and outdoor media. These important partnerships increase not only DSC's visibility with the general public, but increase interest in the mission of protecting our outdoor way of life. To expand DSC's leadership role within the industry, DSC created the DSC Foundation. The DSC Foundation funds grants from resources provided from convention revenues, funds raised from events conducted by the Foundation, and direct contributions from individuals and entities that support the mission of Dallas Safari Club. The DSC Foundation enjoys a 501c3 status, making donations to the foundation tax exempt. The DSC Foundation engages with like-minded partners to leverage the voice of the hunter conservationist, and does so with a goal to include initiatives and entities that are outside of the traditional and recognizable conservation groups. Never before have our efforts and our partnerships been more important, as we find both our hunting heritage and the wildlife we seek to protect under increased threat. The hunting community and wildlife populations around the world are at a crossroad. Dallas Safari Club will do whatever is necessary to promote and protect a system that has proven itself over and over again. We will work to eliminate the scourge of poaching, and we will continue to use our voice on the international stage. Dallas Safari Club and the DSC Foundation will never forget why we are here. We are here to conserve, to educate, and protect the rights of hunters and our hunting heritage.
So that's a little bit about Dallas Safari Club and who we're about. I'd like to take that a little bit further now and introduce you a little more about Dallas Safari Club. So DSC is a member of the IUCN. What is the IUCN? That is the United Nations International Union for the Conservation of Nature. That is a very large body, really the clearinghouse at the national level, associated with environmental issues and those of sustainable development. Secondly, DSC hosts one of the largest international hunters conventions, and I'll come back to that in a little bit about what that really means for this body. DSC provides financial support and consults with all of the major hunting organizations and associations around the world. Thus, we have those relationships already established and maintain those. DSC provides grants regarding conservation and poaching, as was mentioned here, in Africa. Now to speak a little bit about some of the positive impacts of hunting. I had the opportunity to speak to some of this, as did Richard yesterday in the panel discussion, but I'd like to revisit that for those that weren't there. Safari operators in Africa, this is a very conservative estimate, generate $30 million annually. To give one case in point, trophy hunting in South Africa generates $130 million specifically. We talked about the value, the economic gross domestic product in 8 of these eastern and southern countries, generating $426 million yesterday. We look at the other benefits that come from that. We look at safari tent operators, again, the users, safari operators in Tanzania contributed nearly $10 million over a very small window of time regarding fighting and poaching. This is an additive. And then we look on the personal level of some of the benefits that come from this. We look at 285,000 pounds of protein and game meat distributed in Zambia. This is 1 million meals coming dry, being dissipated and transplanted into local communities. 135,000 pounds of meat distributed by a single safari operator. That's often asked, you know, we have phototourism, we may or may not have hunting. So I'd like to discuss that just a little bit, the differences in phototourism versus sport hunting and tourism. Both provide an economic gain, and both provide value to wildlife conservation, but they do so differently, and they can do so to complement each other. I'd like to visit the differences here just briefly. Phototourism takes place in areas where game concentrations are very dense, where people can go and see an abundance of game quite easily. Associated with that requires a road system, typically more luxurious camps, more amenities associated that are easy to get around, to get by, and get from. On the other hand, hunting safaris typically take place in areas that have a lower concentrations of game. These are large areas which do require the hunting of game. Additionally, many of these areas, because of that alone, do not have the concentration of game. They are not necessarily suitable for photographic safaris. Thus, the two can complement each other. But yet, they both provide the economic value. In addition, a difference in that with the photo safaris, they are more rurally based. so they can provide that economic value outside of urban areas, outside of parks and additional areas. So the point of that is the two can complement each other. Maybe one happens in a certain park, another happens somewhere else, but the two can be additive to each other. Now we look at some of the direct benefits. Again, I want to emphasize the fact that we're talking about rural communities and the benefit of that. The result of that is employment, and it's additive. And specifically associated with that employment and the development of bringing people in is infrastructure development. Things associated with that are roads, schools, clinics, road development, road maintenance. And then, like I mentioned a while ago, the meat that comes from these safari operators being distributed locally and provided locally to rural communities. We have some excellent examples that we can use to build from, that those have interest, those that are currently doing. And one great example of this is in Zimbabwe. It's the campfire model. Particularly started in the late 80s. Specific benefits of that is it provides an incentive to invest in wildlife conservation. And that incentive is a direct economic gain right back into rural citizens. There's a financial derivative derived and brought back locally. Thus, there is a desire to invest in wildlife conservation. Here again results in job creation, empowerment that comes from that, and a diversification from livelihoods that could be based solely on livestock or agriculture that may be rain dependent. It provides that diversity. Again, when we look at this particular model, we're looking at a $20 to $25 million economic impact. Again, to overemphasize the point, to a rural community. We talked about poaching. Many people, when they think about this type of work, maybe they interweave the two. Hunting and poaching are completely different. As you will see, and as you have seen, hunters work very vehemently to work against poaching, to work towards a sustainable system. Hunters' dollars, safari operators' dollars going to address poaching syndicates. To combat that, some particular things here. When we look at DSC, foundation dollars going specifically, as mentioned in the video, to combat against poaching. Examples we see here, Zambezi Delta Safaris in Mozambique, the development and building. We look at the spy aircraft right here, funded through this foundation. We look at the South African Wildlife College, the empowerment, building of canine programs, the equipping of game scouts and training. We look at technology-based opportunities in the sense of drones for quick response and aerial reconnaissance. We look at other opportunities to develop aerial surveys, again, to take a broad view of poaching and to be able to react quickly. We look at research. One of the bases Dallas Safari Club believes in is making decisions based on sound science and how to direct that. Sound science should shape policy. And we see these dollars being directed towards that sound science. Particular projects here that are listed as a couple of examples. We see lion projects and leopard projects in the sense of trying to develop census and surveys, particularly important as we look at recent petitions within the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, to the Fish and Wildlife Service. We look at other things trying to fund, look at economic, and look at the sustainability of hunting and the betterment of that. We look at rhino studies as we look at the ability for game ranching and what it can provide in the constant poaching of these particular animals and how we can provide the ability to sustain these particular animals. We continue to look at the benefits of hunting. We see direct and DSC. We look at direct educational support. We look at this support going, and one example here, case in point, is the South African Wildlife College, like I mentioned. We look at the training of professional hunters, again, rural-based. We look at training and equipping of game scouts, again, to fight poaching. We look at aerial surveillance, the ability to use drones and use things smartly to react timely. And we looked at the training of canine teams to be able to pursue and effectively deal with poaching units. And again, we bring all these resources together and we look and have the ability to bring industry and partners together in the sense of developing programs. We have the involvement in the international community. We have the ability to bring these things together. Based on the model of conservation through hunting, again, bringing hunters' dollars together. We look at the ability to impact local communities. Again, the benefits are demonstrated, they're seen, they've been observed. Again, empowerment, job creation, development of infrastructure, and the ability to deal with and help reduce human-wildlife conflicts. And lastly, come January, we have one of the largest hunters' convention internationally. And the benefit and the importance of that is we have the ability to bring hunters to markets. We gather the world and the hunting industry, the professional associations. We have the ability to bring those connections to you and have those opportunities. So DSC stands poised and ready to help you as possible. I appreciate the conversations that we've had, the follow-up that will be ensuing, and we look forward to being able to work with you as we move into the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Or maybe I should say the Obama thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Now, we're almost winding up. I apologize, it's taking a little bit longer. I think it's also cooling down after a heavy meal. Your Excellencies, again, like we started by appreciating you. It's been a great honor tonight. It's everybody who has stayed on to listen to these long, good speeches, interaction, networking, passing cards. You can't beat that. It's really nice. Before we call our last speaker, who is going to be wrapping up the program, I want to appreciate all those that flew from Africa. I want you to stand up. If you came purposely from Africa, and Africa is really big. I know somebody's saying Africa, really. Uganda. We have a group from Uganda. All the Uganda that flew from... I want to see the Ugandan first. All the Ugandan group that flew from Uganda. Honorable Rutunda, thank you. Let us appreciate them. All right, thank you so much. Did we have a group from Rwanda? Rwanda? From Rwanda directly to here? No one? All right. Do we have a group from Kenya? All right. Stay up a little bit. I think somebody is cheating. Are you from Kenya? You look like you're from Somali. All right, that's our Kenyan team. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate you big time. Do we have a group from Southern Sudan? We can't miss them if they're here. All right. Makofi, thank you so much. Those are the youngest in the East African region. Do we have somebody from Burundi? There we go. Thank you so much. Appreciate our team from Burundi. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And last but not the least, Tanzanian. Our brother from Tanzania. They're usually not very fast to stand. Watajikokota kiasi. Watu wa Tanzania mko wapi? Mpo. There you go. Let's appreciate our gentleman there from Tanzania. So really, it's been a very well, you know what? What about the Americans? All the Americans? Is it all of us? All right. I don't play any ratio card. I'll leave that for another day. So put our hands together. Let me talk about this lady who we're just about to invite, and she's going to be the last speaker. Our chairwoman this time has been really a big resource for the board for East African Chamber of Commerce. She's been with us for a while, but the last time we transisted, we went to the gender balance, and she deserved, not only because she's a lady, but her tenacity, her knowledge, her resilience, and her love for the networking in the chamber is second to none. She has put a lot of energy. What you're seeing tonight has been quite a detailed conference calls, meetings, and I tell you what, she doesn't miss. She's the first one to log in. She's the last one to leave. I just love the way she has that energy. And I cannot be more proud to work with someone else more than Elsa. She's been really the rock of this board. It's my pleasure and honor to invite our chairwoman, Elsa, come forward, please. Let's appreciate her. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, we can stand up for her. That's good. Thank you, especially ladies. Yes. Thank you, mommy. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Finally. How's everybody doing? You having a good time? This is all for you. We do it all for you. I want to thank everyone for coming to our 10th year anniversary. And I've only been here 3 years, by the way. I'm not bragging, but I am the first woman, first Ugandan. And I'm so grateful to all the people that supported me to take on this position because it was mainly male dominated. So as we all know, there's always a disparity in gender and other things, but we won't go there today because we're having a good time. So I truly thank you, members, for your loyalty. And I know that coming back every year, you know, people like David with the real estate company and how you've grown your company, and all the hardworking people that understand that the East African Chamber is about creating connections throughout the year. This is not an easy job, but we try to do better every year, and we humbly realize that we could do better. So I really appreciate every single person in this room for all the hard work they do. So first, I'd like to thank our sponsors, because without you, we wouldn't be able to make this possible. And I also would like to thank our speakers and our volunteers. And I would love to thank you individually, but I think there's too many of you to do that. So I'm truly honored and so blessed to be surrounded by such smart, amazing leaders who understand diversity. Because when I started coming to this chamber, I realized that East Africa, you know, you can't just base yourself on just being Kenyan or Ugandan or from Rwanda. We really separate ourselves not only from just race or gender or, you know, we put ourselves in these areas of tribalism in every area, and it's not helpful. So my vision was to help change that. I can't change people's minds, but I can do a little bit at a time, and I'm really thankful for the team I have. So, Your Excellencies, Ambassador Gathai, Ambassador Katende, and all the delegation from Tanzania, this is the first time, so please give yourself a hand for Tanzania. Bonnie Mustafano, you're an amazing person, even if you didn't return my calls. I'll keep calling you because I know that you understand what we're trying to do here as the East African Chamber. We build relationships because that's the most important thing to do. In order to create business relationships, people have to like you first, right? So I'm really grateful for the team that we have, for the founders. Benson Kasue, please come up. And I'd like for all the other board members, since Benson has taken his time running around as always does, to please stand. All the board members, please stand. Not to be so emotional, I want to say that your hard work goes into making this conference so successful. And I'm so proud that you guys showed up on the Tuesday calls that you probably hated calling in, and all the husbands and wives who, I know my husband for sure, who's not in his seat right now. I did not enjoy those Tuesday calls, but I really appreciate you showing up every week and attending and participating, because it takes teamwork to get it done. Just like we're creating the East Africa Chamber of Commerce, the region itself, you guys have done it. So please come up here and stand with me, because I truly believe working together is the best way to do this. I'd like to thank every volunteer, every speaker, and everyone in this room for making this happen. Give yourselves a hand. And I really appreciate all of you as the audience to stand up and clap for yourselves for just being here. Uganda, thank you for representing. Rwanda, thank you for representing. Tanzania, thank you for representing. Thank you. Ambassador Gathai, you're an amazing gentleman. You're one of the kindest people I know.
Yes.
For supporting me as a woman, for standing by me and just saying that, you know what, you can do this and you're doing a great job. That's a wonderful thing. Ambassador Katende, I could listen to you all day long. You have such words of wisdom. Thank you for that. Now, to all the ladies in this building, if you do not join the chamber, shame on you. So I expect my daughters, I expect my sister, I expect everyone in this room to join this chamber and build and grow and build relationships and help people, because without you, we have to support each other, guys. So let's do this. Thank you so much for your time.
I cannot speak anything after my chairwoman has spoken. She's the climax of the event. She's she's the engine that drives all of us. But with me is the vice chair of the chamber, and we have some new entrants in the chamber, which is who are standing, one next to me from Rwanda, and another one from Southern Sudan. Those are new entrants, and it's a great thing. I want you, Immaculate, to say something, not in English, but in Rwandese, because Rwandese have shown up in large numbers.
U Rwanda rwishimiye mwese ko mwaje hano uyu munsi kandi twishimiye gufatanya nabo. Murakoze.
That was very beautiful. Farid. In Southern Sudan.
Well, first, all of you know that South Sudan is the newest member of East Africa. We're very proud of joining a vibrant community. And I'm very proud that we have two of our community members here, our sisters. Marhab bekum. Shukran lekum. Please stand up. And next year, we will have a table full. Actually, we'll have half of this hallway full of South Sudanese right here in this.
Yeah. And our vice chairman always ever flamboyant. He drives like a little, it's like a machine. He roars everything. Bill can pick up. He has lifted me up physically. So tell me hello. So Bill, in English, in American, please.
I was actually going to join in on the dance, but my wife restrained me, so y'all were scared. But I will just say this, Africa's not just rising, Africa's thriving, and we welcome all of you guys to get involved. It's a really special opportunity to bless others and to be blessed, and you're encouraged to plug in, become members, go visit, go on these tours. You'll find that you'll want to live, work, and play there for the rest of your life, so get involved and invest.
We have like one of the oldest Ugandan members of the chamber, and I mean, he's like a pimp. You can see that guy. He just roars everywhere I go. I find, where's Roy Kayi? Oh, Dr. Roy, yes, please, something in Uganda.
Mwebale nnyo okujja era twagala mujoininge chamber twongere okutambuza emirimu gyaffe. Thank you for coming.
And Nancy Roy is another Kenyan who is totally supportive of the chamber. She supports, gives money and everything. Connie Bryant, please. She's Kenyan, so we expect something in Swahili, of course.
Not in Kenya.
No, in Kenya, yes.
I'm Jamboni. My name is Connie Bryant, and of course, I'm from Kenya, and I just wanted to tell you that East African Chamber of Commerce is the gateway to invest in Africa for the Americans. And for Africans, if you do not join East African Chamber of Commerce, then you don't know what you're missing. Thank you.
Now, I wanted you to know, ladies and gentlemen, without this woman I'm going to introduce you to, we're not at the delegation of Uganda. And Jolie Kalhunde, the owner of Malaika, something in Toro, she's from Toro. And now she had a, let's say, surgery done, so excuse her a little bit. Jolie.
Imba sima moni nyuena kuija. Anyuma. Abataka registering ire. Nenyo ni tuenda registering mwicha mtujoininge. Abarugire Toro mbasemeriwe muno. Honorable Alex Ruhunda manyiro genze. Beto ni msima muno iwe na delegation yawe yoihire Uganda. Kuija kutobongera. Na next year mwicha mtuetera ndiseho. Mwebale muno.
Hallelujah. Now we have a gentleman, a former chairman of the chamber from Rwanda, and he stood through with us through think and thing, and since they have some French speakers here, and he only speaks in French, he's very. Please, Mr. Kanobana.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Merci de venir ce soir. On se voit next year.
Now, before we do the final episode, I'm going to call one of our good supporters from Tanzania, Jolie Musonga. She's been married, so no Musonga anymore. Jolene, can you please stand up and be recognized? And turn around to us and keep moving towards us, Jolene. Keep moving. Keep moving, Jolene. We got your back. Look at her. I've known her for a long time. She's tall. I got to stand on this stool to even compare. She's our newest member of the chamber from Tanzania. And Joel, something in Tanzania, and welcome Tanzanians here, and all the members of Tanzania community that come from
East Africa. Jamani, karibuni sana, hapa ni Dallas. Watanzania wenzangu, naomba mseme pige vigelegele. Okay, that's East African Chamber of Commerce. Naomba mjiunge na tuendelee kusaidiana. Asanteni sana.
That's a woman from Magufuli country. I think we only have the newest secretary. They give me this title, secretary. I'm not really the secretary, but the secretary is a lady by the name Irene Kasunja from Uganda. You can see Uganda is represented very well. What language? In Ugandan.
In Luganda.
Yes.
Basebo ne banyabo mwebale nnyo okujja. Kwagala mjoining a Chamber of Commerce tukole ebintu bingi tuyambe Uganda tuyambe n'abali mu diaspora. Ladies and gentlemen, for the Americans, what I said is I thank the Ugandans for coming. I told them to join the chamber so we can support the Ugandans in the diaspora and the Americans who are doing business in East Africa. Thank you.
So I have to take the mic away from Benson because he's very aggressive. So right now I just want to say thank you so much. And I'd like to really close out this evening by making sure that everybody in this room is dancing and having a great time. But before we do that, you guys can sit down. I don't want to keep you. Before we do that, I just want to make sure that our ambassadors that are in the room, and is Bonnie here? Bonnie Musafano. Please come up, please, for just a few seconds, just to have 2 minutes of your time. Ambassador Gathai, please come up for 2 seconds. Ambassador Katende, Bonnie Musafano. Just real quick, ladies and gentlemen, and then you guys can get the party started. So the point of all of this is that you understand my passion for East Africa, and I just want to say that I want you to really talk to our audience about, and it's only going to be 2 minutes. I'm sure no one has ever told you you only have 2 minutes to speak because you're very important people. But if you could just give us a few words, please.
Good evening. I just want to say thank you to East Africa Chamber of Commerce for inviting us again to be part of you. I've seen East Africa Chamber of Commerce start from the lowest of the low to the highest of the high where they are. My first time to attend your event, the conference was celebrated, or it was done in a school. And this was a very small place. I think we had an audience of 100 people, but I think you can see where you are today. Thank you so much, and I hope people understand that this is the right platform to connect. Let's take people to do business in East Africa. Let's take people to do business in Africa. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I thank everybody who came and attended this very important dinner. Kenya, and that includes the East African community, we are open for business. This is time to invest in Africa. This is time to partner, particularly with the diaspora here. If you're thinking of opening up investments in the East African community region, you have a pool of talented, educated diaspora here who knows the local conditions in East Africa. Make use of them. Yeah? Make use of them, partner with them. It can only be a win-win position. Thank you.
I would like to thank you, Madam Chairperson, and all your executive and board members, and indeed all members of the chamber, all special guests. First of all, let me also thank you for the wonderful dinner. It was great. For me, this was the first time to attend this occasion, and I must say I learned a lot. I learned a lot, and I have made many friends. I have established links, and I will follow up on those links. I really appreciate all of you. This project, the East African Chamber of Commerce, is in the right direction, and let's keep working together for the good of not only East Africa, but also of America. I think the spirit is that one of mutual benefit. Next year, I'll come back, although you haven't yet invited me. I will come back whether you invite me or you don't. And I'll try to also come with the well-selected team. We had a team, we had members of parliament, we had other delegates, but we'll make it better next time. Thank you so much. And I would like to propose that before we leave, you allow us to have a group photograph here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Mr. DJ and also photographer. He's running up here probably to take a picture, so we'll wait. Oh, for all of us? Okay. I think he's been taking pictures, so.
Okay, please don't leave. Stay where you are. The music is about to kick in. DJ, let's go.